of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know, nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize, be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna.
Pleasant good morning. Here we are once again to do our daily devotion. This morning is about prayer. But prayers are very important. And why do we know? There's a reference here that we're going to use in Mark chapter 11. 11:20 we start. In the morning as they went along, they saw the fig tree withered from the roots. Peter remembered and said to Jesus, Rabbi, look, the fig tree you curse has withered. Why this? Because this is showing that the words of God don't go to waste. These trees were planted for fruits and they were bearing no fruit, and that's one of the basis of this also. No fruits. No fruits. And when Jesus Christ came to that tree, he cursed that tree because that tree had no fruits. As a Christian, we need to have fruit. What are our fruits? Our fruits are bringing people into the kingdom to join. You don't go to church just for attendance. You go to church to learn and to continue to spread the word of God. And so this fig tree should have had fruits, but Jesus cursed it. But what is focused on here is that what he said happened. The apostle pointed it out. He saw Peter, he saw it. He said, wow, Lord, you said such and such yesterday, and look at it today. And it continues, says, Jesus said, have faith in God. In other words, you must believe blindly what God says without having any proof. That's faith. That's going to happen or that it can happen. That is faith. Jesus answered, I tell you the truth. If anyone says to this mountain, go throw yourself into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart, but believes that what he says will happen. You know, this word, this belief, is used a lot. It's kicked around like a spiritual football. People say, I believe in God. Do you really believe in God? Because Jesus is saying that if you believe in and say something, it will happen. You know, it makes me look at my faith. And I say, Lord, I'm not there. I don't have that mustard size seeds faith. It's not because I don't want it. I want to, but I ask the Lord, what is it? He says, faith comes by hearing, and hearing the word of God. More and more we hear the word of God. And that helps in the faith that we have. Because these things Jesus is saying are very deep. Jesus does not waste words. He does not say things just for saying them. He says things so that you and I may have insight. Remember what he said? That the mysteries of the kingdom of God has been given to such as us. So what he said in the parable of the sower when they went to ask him why. He said, if you and I believe, whatever we say will happen. But we can't doubt in our hearts. Or in other words, when we pray, we're doubting in our hearts. Sometimes we doubt in our hearts, and we're not supposed to pray doubting in our hearts. We're supposed to pray believing. And it continues and it says, it will be done. Therefore, I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, Believe that you have received it. So we ask to say, you see this received is past tense. Sometimes we pray and we continue to pray for the same thing over and over. And if we do that, we are violating the very thing that is being said here. So whatever you pray about, believe that you have received it. Past tense, that you have received it. And it will be yours. So think about, for us right now who are praying, think about what we have been praying about and what we've been asking God for. And let us believe what the scripture says. Let us believe that it is done. God has asked for it. Of course, a pure Christian heart will not ask for something that is detrimental to your Christian walk. I am praying about the eyesight of a few of our people, the healing for our people, the healing of myself. And we must accept, we must believe that it is done. It is done. We must believe that it is done, and it will be done. So the scripture says. It says, and when you stand praying, if you hold anything against anyone, forgive him. Forgive him, so that your Father in heaven may forgive you your sins. I want my sins forgiven. We looked at some of the things about prayer, and we look at some of the things we're praying about, and we see there's a connection. The Bible says that there's a connection between sin and disease. Some people are sick as a consequence of the sin in their life. I confess mine about gluttony. I'm diabetic now, and I've prayed about healing. And I'm violating what I just said. Believe that I have received, but I acknowledge the errors of my ways. It was a consequence of gluttony, which is a sin, that I find myself in this position with diabetes. You see, so I said to everybody, ask for forgiveness and watch what God will do. What God has done. Prayers, it opens a wide door. If we fulfill, we should. I would long to see a manual or something that has all that the Bible says about prayers, what will make prayers work and what will make them work. Be a wonderful thing to read. So when we go to the Lord in prayer, as a prayer warrior, we'll have all those things in our minds clear.
With 30 years of experience, Builders Hardware has been your trusted one-stop shop for building supplies and construction materials. We're not just about products, we're about exceptional service and excellent prices. Plus, with unbeatable prices on renowned brands and the largest selection of construction supplies available, why go anywhere else? Got a project on your hands? Let us lighten the load. Whether you're tackling the biggest commercial project or the tiniest home renovations, our dedication and commitment ensures that you get the best. Roofing materials? Check. Cement and steel? Check. Sand and gravel? Double check. And if you don't see something you need, just ask, because at Builders Hardware, we've got you covered from construction start to finish. Call us or visit us on Constitution Drive in Belmopan and experience the difference. Oh, and did we mention, we offer convenient delivery services anywhere in Belize, so you can focus on your project while we handle the logistics. Builders Hardware, 30 years of serving you. We think our customers are awesome.
Blessed Gardens is servicing home gardens across the country from the nation's capital and helping Belizeans reconnect with nature. We have everything you need for your home garden, so get growing. We have various types of soils: fortified soil, composted soil, potting soil, and pure compost for your garden. We have quality seeds and over 65 varieties of food seedlings for your garden. We even have organic insecticides available, EM soil treatment, and Polyshade for your excessive sun or rain. Blessed Gardens has all your garden solution in one location. Call 610-5679. Visit us at the Belmopan Market Plaza or enjoy our free deliveries across the country. Blessed Gardens, Get growing, Belize.
Attention Belmopan residents. This is an important reminder regarding the proper disposal of debris in our community. As per Statutory Instrument Number 122 of 2005, Section 10, Subsection B, residents are strictly prohibited from placing debris on the buffers. Violating this regulation is considered a ticketable littering offense. Residents are encouraged to use private contractors or contact the Belmopan City Council to make arrangements for debris disposal. If you need assistance with debris disposal, please contact the Sanitation Department at 822-2271, extension 2019. This message is brought to you by the Belmopan City Council. Let's work together to keep our beautiful city clean and safe. Thank you for your cooperation.
City residents, civic pride is all our responsibility. It's about taking ownership of our city and embracing its beauty. But amidst this beauty lies a growing concern: the continuous destruction of city property. And a part of civic pride is taking care of public property. Therefore, the Belize City Council takes this time to remind city residents that these acts are not just vandalism. They are crimes against rights to property and criminal damage to property. Under Chapter 101 of the Criminal Code within the substantive laws of Belize, a person who, without lawful excuse, destroys or damages any property belonging to another, intending to destroy or damage such property, or being reckless, shall be guilty of a crime. Upon conviction, a person can face up to 1 year imprisonment. We must all do our part to safeguard what belongs to all of us, what belongs to our city. Together, we can make a difference. This is our city. Let's respect it. Your Belize City Council, always about the people.
Cyber Realty and Development is the leader in providing solutions to the current land crisis in Belize. For homeowners and investors alike, Cyber Realty is offering special deals on half-acre parcels in its new Emery Village development. Enjoy prime land off Mile 37 on the George Price Highway at an unbeatable price. All you need is the initial down payment of $275 Belize dollars. Take advantage and reserve your half-acre home sites today. Emery Village. Join the community. Invest in your future.
Mopping, tiles, furniture, and...
Miss, you don't need all of this, man. Only this you need. We make 4 out of this. And it's cheaper than all of them put together.
I want it.
Green Clean. All your cleaning needs in one bottle.
Devastating loss. An extra attention needs to be paid.
Do you enjoy learning and wanting to know more about Christ your Savior? Then join Phil Sanders in Search of the Lord's Ways every Sunday 7:30 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. on PlusTV for half an hour of beautiful hymns and Bible messages. Messages are repeated on Tuesdays at 1:30 and Fridays at 10:30 a.m. Search in the Word for God's will. Know more and do more for the God we love. In Search of the Lord's Ways with Phil Sanders is being brought to you by the Church of Christ in your area. Be sure to visit.
So when we face God, you know, we're not thinking the love of the Lord.
Spice up your next event with professional lighting. Call 610-5679 and give your audience an experience they'll never forget. Proper stage lighting ensures stage visibility, motivates, and sets the mood of the atmosphere. We provide services for weddings, concerts, parties, dance recitals, and much more. Captivate your audience. Improve your production today. Call Shamax Productions at 610-5679 for quality and professional stage lighting.
I can't feel to see it. Run up there.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know, nobody know. If I ever had to leave my home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize, be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love it, sweet Belize.
It is a beautiful Thursday morning. We're coming towards the end of the first week in the month of February, the month of love. Today is the 6th of February. Thank you for joining us live on Rise and Shine. It is Thursday morning across the nation of Belize, and it is an absolutely beautiful day. Regardless of what part of the country you are watching us from, regardless of the method by which you watch Rise and Shine, live, repeat, or on any of our apps and streaming services or cable across the nation of Belize, good morning to you. Let's start off by taking a look at today's weather to give you an idea of where the weather is going to take us today. The weather calls for generally fair weather conditions to prevail. Over the next 24 hours, sunny skies will be cloudy with a few cloudy spells. There will be sunny skies with a few cloudy spells and partly cloudy to cloudy skies tonight. Showers will be generally isolated with a few more showers, mainly over central areas this afternoon and mostly over the south late tonight. Wind conditions. Winds are blowing from the east at 10 to 15 knots with sea state moderate and waves 4 to 6 feet. Temperature, inland temperature 86 degrees, nice and warm, not hot, just warm. The low is 69 for inland. On the coast, it will be 84 degrees as the high with 76 as the low, and in the hills, it will be 73 degrees as the highs. It's getting warmer in the hills, but the low will be 65. The outlook for Friday and Friday night. We are expecting partly cloudy skies to cloudy skies. Showers will be generally isolated with a few more, mostly over the south. So it is going to be a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. So we see that as we look towards the weekend, we can see the sun is popping out a little bit more frequently starting today. Yesterday we had in Belmopan, we had rain all morning, and then we got a little break in parts of the afternoon, and then it stopped raining in the evening. But that's your weather report for today. And maybe I should add to that people are beginning to order soil again because we are heading into the period of time when those who like their soil to be dry, they garden around this time. And then so we're getting our orders, and we're having enough sunshine that you are able to get your soil, you get dry soil already. So I'm putting the word out there, and we are getting our nursery back together again. I brought some seeds, and so we're getting ready to have that variety of plants for you for your garden. So some people don't like to garden during the rain season. Some people love it, at least the earlier part. There are plants that you can put into the ground and get a good result in the rainy weather. But most people prefer to control the water content by themselves. So we're not in the dry yet, clearly, but we are heading there. And so you can order your soil by contacting me at 610-5679. Pastor Scott's term is still on break, which is good. He needs a little break, and we are missing him, but don't worry, he'll be back very soon. It is Thursday morning, and there is still a lot for us to talk about. And the first I want to start off with is that the attorney for government, Amon Courtney, was our Minister of Foreign Affairs. He gave up a couple of positions, but of course he is still very close to the government. Attorney at law Amon Courtney has written to the attorney for Vision Inspired by the People. I believe Paul Morgan. It's the same team of individuals, so even if I don't get the name correct, but they are the ones who have been pushing the constitutional issue of redistricting, and that case has gone to court, and redistricting is in order. This is a constitutional matter, and so how can we have another election when we have not redistricted, and there has been sufficient time for redistricting, and there is still sufficient time in this term to do redistricting. So I was hearing the rumors, people saying that elections that this Friday, because the House is going to meet, it is February, that the Prime Minister would call elections. How would he do that? He would dissolve Parliament, dissolve Parliament. And so roughly a month from that, you have general elections. But the Vision Inspired by the People is saying that the government has stated that no, this weekend, this Friday, there will not be a call for elections. But we do see in our country, we see the ads on social media, political ads are beginning to air. You see the United Democratic Party factions increasing their rhetoric. You begin to see the appearances and so on, which is indicating that we are getting ready, or we are warming up, or putting the ducks in line for a general election. So we know at least this weekend or this Friday it is not going to be called. But let's take a listen at the interviews that were held with Jerry Enriquez, and so we will continue our conversation from there. So there are several things that we do want to discuss this morning, that being one of them. We want to take a look at this issue with the Stella Maris child that died. Let's take a closer look at it. Who is responsible? Who is not responsible? And again, collectively, what can and cannot be done. But let's start first with this political matter of redistricting. I know that there is a group out of San Ignacio as well, not PUP or UDP, but a third party. Rudy Wade was here with us. They have also secured a lawyer and are pushing the same issue as well. So Let's take a look at those interviews.
The government of Belize, of both administrations, have been consistently ignoring the constitutional mandate to have our electoral divisions as closely to equal as possible. That is in Section 90 of the Constitution. And so there's severe malapportion, so severe that I see this as a constitutional crisis when the government repeatedly ignore the taking actions towards redivisioning our electoral divisions such that they are near to equal as possible in compliance with our constitution. So I think our government then of both administrations have been doing an injustice to the people. And even now, especially as government is preparing to call for elections, I see this as a blatant and shameless violation of the rights of the people. I expected better from this government because when the Belize Peace Movement challenged the government just before elections in 2020, they took the government to court to try for an injunction so that elections are not called until there is a fair distribution of electorates across electoral divisions. This government also went to court to challenge that. And of course, the court decided that since the elections were already called, then it could not grant the injunction. This government, and when they entered, promised to do that redistricting. And that did not happen. They continued to find ways to ignore it. And I think at this point, there is still time before November to have, when elections are really due, and there could even be a 3-month grace period after that, for them to correct the situation. Otherwise, the election is illegal and unconstitutional. It would be a fraudulent election because the Constitution is clear. It is the supreme law that protects the interests of the people. Political parties that we have, both political parties, are trying to manipulate our democracy for their benefit and completely violating the Constitution. They are not above the law, and that is the supreme law of the country. So we need to get that corrected. We are in a crisis, and this needs to stop, and this needs to be settled. No political party, no government official is above the law. The Constitution of Belize is the supreme law of the land. They swear to uphold that law, and therefore, this is time for people to call them to task. For too long, various organizations in our country, the Chamber of Commerce, Belize, the Belize NGOs, the various organizations have been silent and complicit while this continues to worsen. And so I think now is the time for us to call the government to task to say, look, you promised to abide by the Constitution, the supreme law of the land. Show us that that is what you're going to do.
Yes, so I think that, all right, so it's the peace movement. So my apologies for saying vision inspired by the people, but some of the same leaders from that movement have been a part of this particular movement. So this is not partisan political movement. This is a movement that is geared towards ensuring that Belizeans have a fair political election process. Why does redistricting matter? It matters first and foremost because, as Mr. Enriquez says, it is the supreme law of the land. So if Belize is a nation of laws, then that law should be observed. If rule of law is important to our government and people, to our politicians to be specific, because there are rules for the highway, and the government enforces that. There are rules for the age that children are supposed to go to the school, government enforces that. But this now is a rule for government. Why are they ignoring it? So being a nation where the rule of law is the most important thing, because the rule of law demands and dictates, the principle dictates that every person, including the Prime Minister, the Commissioner of Police, I think we saw in one of the Caribbean countries where a Commissioner of Police was arrested and charged by the very same police that she is over, because she attempted to illegally import a very specific type of weapon into the country on behalf of somebody else. And though she was a commissioner of police, she was arrested and charged. This is a principle of the rule of law, that nobody is above the law. So how can it be that the government, and in particular this administration, which came into office 4.5 years ago, when this issue went to court, when this issue was pivotal, they made a commitment to do it. This is now so much years later, it has still not been done. So the government should not have had to be taken to court to do their job, because the Prime Minister, the Cabinet, have sworn to uphold the Constitution. And the Constitution speaks towards electoral divisions that are as close to equal as is possible. So the nation knows, based upon the distribution of voters in each constituency, that there has been no attempt to try to balance out the electoral list so that it reflects what the Constitution calls for. The Constitution calls for equity across the electoral divisions. So here you have the Prime Minister talking about Equal Opportunity Bill, which has, of course, nothing to do with redistricting, but redistricting is the true equality that exists politically within the country. So there is a disconnect. I continue to say that there is a disconnect between what is needed and what these politicians are pursuing. And I have nothing personal against General Besenio. Love what the government is doing in so many areas. Fully support what they are doing, but not, I can't say fully support what they are doing, but here are these glaring areas. These are glaring areas of ignoring the Constitution of Belize. So, number one, why redistrict? The Constitution calls for it. I think every decade, every 10 years, every 2 census, which is one of the reasons of having the census, is to see how we are growing, how we are doing as a people, where are the parts of the nation where population is increasing, where is it decreasing, why they will go spend millions of dollars every year on a census, or every 5 years on a census, and then the most important thing that the census should do, which is to help to redistribute the population according to constituencies so that the distribution of resources of the country can be equitably distributed. So here you want an equal opportunity bill, but have no interest in true equity, which is the kind of equity that the Constitution calls for. You have a disconnect. This is a disconnect. So that's number one. The Constitution calls for it. Number two, it is an issue of equal vote. because by equally distributing the votes throughout the constituencies, you ensure that you don't end up with more powerful area representatives and less powerful area representatives by virtue of the number of votes. And the way it works, it is not that the leaders with the largest voting population or the largest constituencies have the most power. On the contrary, they have the least. So that the constituencies that are the smallest, their votes are more powerful. And I will give the example again for those who choose to not understand. You can walk Mesopotamia in probably half day or a day, visit every house, which is a constituency in Belize City. And then the largest constituency is Stann Creek West, where you have many villages, plus Independence, which you hear me say that Independence needs to be a town. So here you have these huge constituencies. You have these huge constituencies like Stann Creek West that are having problems because the area representative has all the way from Pomona all the way through Silgrass and all of these communities, all the way through to Mango Creek, right? So this is the inequity we are talking about, that if each constituency gets $100,000, Mesopotamia have a very, very few people that $100,000 can go to. But a community like Stann Creek West, which is very large, $100,000 cannot do anything. So that is really what you end up with. You end up with this massive inequity. And then what do you also end up with now? You end up with Belize City having Freetown, Lakey, Alberts, Queen Square, right down the line, Colette, Caribbean Shores. Just a lot of constituencies in a very, very, very confined area. So this is the second reason. It's the equality of the vote, for the distribution of resources and for equality within the house. So that you don't have, as I said, here you have one member that has to campaign for months and might not even be able to reach all of his constituents, and the other one that can meet his constituents in one day. So here you have now, what are some of the smallest constituencies? Fort George, Queen Square, Mesopotamia. Think about it, you know. Think about it. Fort George, a prime minister has come from Fort George. Queen Square, a prime minister has come from Queen Square. Mesopotamia, a prime minister potential. The leader of the opposition is from that area. So what is that telling you? What is that telling you? That indeed power is locked up in these smaller constituencies. And I think that the problem now is that those three constituencies should really be one. Should have one representative, because by virtue of the number of people in those constituencies cannot grow. They are locked. They are landlocked. They are locked in by other constituencies, and the only solution is to merge. And that is why The politicians don't want to obey the law. So you cannot obey the law only when it is in your favor. So imagine the chaos we would have. And so we are having political chaos in that particular era. So I fully support what is being done by private citizens who have come together now that have to sue the government for the government to follow the law. This is not right. And this is 5 years later. This is 5 years later. So now, was there no time? Was there no resources? Or was there no interest, no desire to follow the Constitution in this particular era? So I am glad that a call has been made to say, no, this Friday we're not going to do it. But what the call that we need is for redistricting to take place. So what are we talking about with redistricting? Well, the larger constituencies, which includes Belmopan, by the way, the larger constituencies, Stan Creek West, for absolute sure, need to be split. But that's not the only thing that needs to be done. You know what else needs to be done? Smaller constituencies need to be merged. And that is the problem. This is the problem, you know. Because to compound it, we do not need any more seats in the House. We don't need more than 31. 31 seats in the House, 31 constituencies in a small country like Belize is too much. So here are the problems. They don't have a problem splitting these large constituencies. I don't think that is the problem. I think the problem is the merging of the smaller constituencies and doing it without substantially increasing the number of seats in the House. Now, one more thing. Gerrymandering. What is gerrymandering? Gerrymandering is when politicians draw the lines of a constituency in such a way that they include the neighborhoods and communities that will more likely vote for them. That is gerrymandering. Gerrymandering is trying to create the constituency when you redraw the lines in such a way that you win the constituency because you will have the number of votes. And so the street goes this street here, then it goes here, then it goes there. As you draw out the boundaries of the constituency. And this is another reason why the politicians don't like redistricting. Why? Because they want to win. And not only do they want to win, they want to force the win. This is putting your thumb on the scale. So who is going to not run for office again if you have to merge, if you have to merge, let's say, Fort George with Caribbean Shores or something like that? Will it be the Caribbean Shores person who steps back, or will it be the Fort George person that says, well, I don't have a constituency? You see, this is problematic, because who will step back? Or you're going to have to say, okay, well, Fort George is land, and sorry to continue to use some of these places, but it's really what it is. The problem is Belize City, where Belize City has the smallest constituencies, and Belize City has the most powerful politicians. And Belize City gets the bulk of the resources. It works exactly like what I'm telling you, that the smaller constituencies get more, and the bigger constituencies get less. See? So what are they going to do? Fort George is now going to be the current location plus a piece of Belmopan. See? How is that going to work? So, let me say that artificial intelligence is here. Artificial intelligence was not here 5 years ago for the last election. Any kind of manpower, brain power, and there are people who specialize in creating electoral divisions. The experts exist. But what exists today that did not exist 5 years ago is artificial intelligence that can very easily map out the whole country. You put in the information of that is readily available at Statistical Institute of Belize, and I bet you AI and the experts can within 24 hours come up with several options for redistricting. Please understand that this is not because we do not have the tools or we do not have the innovation or the skills or the experts. This has to do singularly with a lack of will, a lack of desire, and believing that the Belizean people will just accept it. It will just be accepted. And so I believe that Mr. Enriquez is right when he says that other organizations need to speak up about redistricting. I say we have enough time. We have had enough time. And I don't see why not now for the current government. I do not see why not now. Because if you want to say there's a chance that we might lose the election, or if you want to say we're not sure how people are going to vote in this election, then you are less likely to put into place the redistricting. So let's take a look at the United Democratic Party 5 years ago. The United Democratic Party was at a place where it was in its third session, it was in its third administration, it was not popular. The pandemic had come, which worsened the flaws in their ability to govern, just became extremely evident. People were very dissatisfied with them. Then, to add to that, the Prime Minister at the time, Dean Barrow, was stepping down, and so there would be new leadership, which would have brought, which is another question. And so one can understand the political dilemma of breaking the constitution, should we break the constitution? And they did, by not having redistricting. Why? Because it was likely that they were going to lose. There was changing of leadership. The sentiments of the people was not for them. And so they did not. What is the excuse for the PUP? What is the excuse? You are popular. You know that you are going to win the next election. The opposition is in disarray. You have sufficient time between now and the end of the year to. So what is the problem? This is my opinion, that the PUP can draw the lines practically any way, any which way, and we'll see massive victory in the next upcoming election. You can draw the lines anyway. So let's see the leadership be able to deal with those persons when I want to draw a line, and let's get the Constitution respected in this administration. All right, so those are my thoughts on that particular issue. Now, I don't know if I think I'm going to rail up. I'm not a rail up yet, or I might rail up next. Let's talk about this situation of this young child that passed away. Such a terrible thing. Let me see this text here. Yeah, he said, "You are so right. This is the most incompetent leadership of the Elections and Boundaries Commission." Right? So Thank you for that. So I don't know. I willpower, and of course, as I said, AI exists that can whop that thing up in absolutely no time. So now, let's go to our next story, which is the story as it relates to this young man from Stella Maris school who met a very unfortunate death. And the conversation that the country is having is whether or not Pablo is the name of the child, whether or not it was the country's fault. Society is being blamed. Of course, maybe we can, do we have the footage of the young child? Here is little Pablo, and he has passed away as a special needs child. I think he ended up drowning, and that he ran and walked all the way from Stella Maris to his demise. So whose fault is it? First of all, should we ask the question, whose fault is it? And the answer is yes. Yes. So we start with those who are paid. That's how we start, you know. You start, if you want to know who is in charge of a thing, just find out who is being paid to do it. Right? This nonsense about it's all of our fault. No, it is not all of our fault. And it cannot be, the fault cannot be laid at the foot of those who saw a running child. This is absolutely ridiculous to put the blame at the foot of people who were passing by and may or may not have seen a child running in a uniform that they may or may not have recognized as Stella Maris. It is absolutely ridiculous to lay any kind of blame at people who, one, it is not their responsibility, two, they are not paid for it, three, they may or may not have seen. We watch one video of the child running down the street in hindsight, and all of the cameras captured it. Yes, because we have enough surveillance now. So what? Do we blame the people who have the cameras because their cameras caught the child and they were not able to see it until after the child ran? It is absolute nonsense. Where do we start and put the blame? Let's find out who is paid to do what. Who is paid to do what? Do we have the video? I had requested the videos of the child. Do we have the videos of the child running? So there is absolutely no way, that we who are watching the video after the fact, there is no way for us who are watching the video to say that motorcycle man responsible, that driver responsible, that one nearly knocked on down. We are watching the video. We have the opportunity to absorb the information at this time because we know that the child drowned. So we can now take the information that the child drowned and we can now superimpose it over the video that we are watching. So we come to the table watching the video with a full knowledge of what eventually happened to the child. So we do not sit at the best position to make conclusions about anybody that we see in that video, because we have information that they did not have at the time. So they may have seen a child running across the road. They may have seen, maybe they thought that the child was going for his mother. And yes, in an uncomfortable position, in the sense that he's running through the street. But for any one individual, they probably would have seen that child for maybe the most 30 seconds, maybe a minute. In some cases of vehicles, they would have seen him for 10 seconds. So the person, the gentleman who is doing the interview, who received the interview, he is concerned. Everybody should be concerned. Everybody should be angry. Yes, everybody should be sad that this incident occurred. But that individual who gave the interview, who said, as a taximan, if he saw the child, he would have stopped him. He gave the background of the reason why he would have stopped the child. And what is the background of that taximan? His background is that his taxi operates by taking these children to school and from school. So he is an expert in this area. The average person is not. So if we want to know who is responsible, let's find out who is paid to do this job. That's where it is. Yes, it would have been wonderful if a motorcyclist or a taximan or a car or a pedestrian who understood the situation could intervene. It would have been great. Now, as I listen to the stories, somebody says that a police officer who was getting her hair done at the time saw the child and made a call to the police station. So why is it that this taximan can speak? He has some experience in the matter. Why is it that the police woman could see the situation? She has training in the matter. She has experience in the matter. So do not, as a society, allow your leaders to just take the death of this child and paste it on us all. This is the same thing that the police like to do, the police high command like to do, and the Ministry of Policing like to do when they say crime is everybody's business. Crime is not everybody's business. You will hear me say that for the 12 years that I have been on this program. Crime is not everybody's business. Start by finding out who gets paid to reduce crime. That is where we start. And it starts with the Commissioner of Police. It starts with your Prime Minister. It has your cabinet in it. And it has a Minister of Police. And it has a high command. And it has detectives, experts, people who are going to study all over the place. Prosecutors. That is where the crux of the matter is. Find out who get paid. After who get paid, you have people who volunteer. After that, you have your wider society. Must everyone play their role? Yes. But crime is not everybody's business. Crime is the business of people like our Commissioner of Police. Crime is the business of a person who says, yes, I will be Minister of Police. I will be Home Affairs or whatever. From time to time, these different administrations change the name. But what is it? It is an excuse by the people whose primary responsibility it is to take care of these children and are paid to do so, are trained to do so. They have neglected their job. They have failed to put the proper resources in place, as with the Ministry of Education. As I will talk about the disabilities right now. I will talk about disabilities because we told you last year that the passing of the disabilities bill had nothing to do with disabled people. It was the hijacking and use of disabled people for the purpose of passing LGBTQIA legislation in Belize. That we told you that the LGBT had hijacked the disabilities group, and therefore this legislation came into effect to bring into effect the Equal Opportunity Tribunal, and people who were truly marginalized by disabilities were thrown off to the side. Now you could see it. Now you could see it. Because how after you just don't pass a bill, after you just don't promote a bill, after you don't circulate to all the media houses about disabilities, and you know have a law in place, something like this happened. Something like this happened because it never was the priority of those who wrote. It never came from their heart. Disabled people were not on their heart, and we kept telling this nation on the show that the disabilities bill, which was passed, had nothing to do with these children, had nothing to do with little Pablo. It had to do with LGBTQIA hijacking the bill. Because how can the country still be naive regarding disabilities? How can the country be naive? After money gets spent to write bill, draft bill, they claim that they did consultation and so on, and the poor, everybody that watch Belize, watch the boy run past. Because it's not on our priority list. It's not on our priority list. It never has been. We have just, as a leaders, Human Services Department, Ministry of Education, only use the disabled people to pass a law that they want to pass for diversity, equity, and inclusion, LGBTQIA. This is right in front of her face. Because this disabled child, this child, Pablo, the special needs child, I should say, was in the safest possible place that a special needs child can be. Think about that. Think about that. Let's listen to the Minister of Education before we go to a break. But I want you to ponder this, that in the whole country of Belize, the safest place created by the government, empowered by the government, trained by the government, equipped and resourced by the government, the child was in that place. Stella Maris. Think about that when you listen to the minister. Let's hear what the minister has to say.
The Minister of Education says it's a devastating loss. And extra attention needs to be paid when dealing with special needs children. In an interview with him this afternoon, Fonseca spoke more on the impact of this tragedy.
You know, I think in any society, you know, one of our greatest duties or greatest responsibilities is to care for the most vulnerable citizens or most vulnerable citizens, and that's usually our children and the elderly. And in this case with little Pablo, he was of course also, apart from being a 5-year-old child, he was also a special child, a child with special needs, a child with autism. So we have a special duty of care for those children. So it's an absolutely devastating loss. And I want to, you know, assure the Belizean people that, you know, we're conducting, as you said, a thorough investigation into this matter, a full investigation. We're working along with the Belize Police Department as well. The investigating officer is Detective McLaughlin. And she joined me this morning at Stella Maris School, where I had an opportunity to meet with Pablo's mother, his grandmother, and his aunt. I will meet with his father and members of his father's family later today. But we had an opportunity to speak with them, to respond as best as possible to all of their questions and concerns, and to express our full support for them during this very, very, very difficult time.
While tracing the route that Pablo ran on Monday, we met former ex-fireman and BDF soldier Philip Michael Martinez.
So I am not a fan of this. It's everybody's responsibility. When a tragedy comes, then crime becomes everybody's business, or we as a society have whatever. Right? You can hear clearly what the minister say, right? What is the minister saying clearly? One, he called an investigation, so it must be his business. Number two, he has informed the police, etc., and they visited the school, so it must be his business. Number three, he spoke with the parent, he spoke with the aunt, he tried to answer that question, so it must be his business. It's their business. We pay them well. The Minister of Education is paid well to oversee not just the education of the children across the country, because the children and old people are so important to us. Then we are going to ensure that with the proper resources, the proper fencing for the school, the proper security for the school, the proper number of teachers that the school requires for the number of students that the school has, etc., etc. No, I did not hear in that particular interview where the minister is saying it's everybody's business. He's taking steps as the leader, and that is what we want and need, is leadership in these times. Leadership. But please understand, it's the minister's business because he's calling an investigation. We need to stop this nonsense about it's everybody's business. It's not everybody's business. It cannot be. We cannot all be in Belmopan. So we elect people who we think are capable to go to Belmopan or to come to Belmopan, to this place here, to make laws, to make budget, to know the problems in the country and to solve them. The problem is here. That's why we keep this picture here. It's not everybody's business. We elect and pay people for it to be their business. We have a caller on the line. Caller, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, Pastor. How are you doing?
Morning, good morning.
It's called the blame game, bro. It's called the blame game. I just called for say that, man, because that's the blame game.
Out the blame.
Blame game. You have a good day, Pastor Luis.
Thank you very much for your call. Right? So, if you show the picture of Stella Maris, again, right, this very same picture, look at the quality of the fence, and right, little bit more, right there. Right there. See the boot there? See the boot? At the entrance. So, where did the child come out through? Is there a hole in the fence? Is there a hole in the fence? Is the fence, is the building completely fenced? Is the building completely fenced? Did the child come out through a hole in the fence? Did the child come through the gate of the fence? This is what we need to talk about. This is the problem. The problem is, you see where the video there? The video is showing you who responsible. It's right in that video. It's the administration and staff and the ministry and the security, etc. That's where the problem is. Now, here is my question. What is the minister going to do with the report when the report come out? To find out the child was in the classroom, where was the teacher when the child was in the classroom? Did the teacher go out? Where is the substitute teacher? These are special needs children. Where's the substitute teacher? Right? Did the child go to the bathroom? Does somebody go with the child to the bathroom, being a special needs situation? Or the child is allowed to go by himself? You see, Belizeans, we will never solve our problems if we blame society. Because you can't change society. But you know what you could change? The person, whether the guard at that door. The teacher, you can change the teacher. You can change the principal. You can change the minister if he didn't do his job. Maybe the minister has a desk just for special needs. Stella Maris is under whose portfolio and under what administration? You could change those people, but will you? This is the crux of the matter. The crux of the matter is that in Belize, the people where the fool get promoted. Why don't we talk about that instead of talk about its society's business? Why don't we talk about what the minister is going to do when the report come out? When the investigation have its conclusion? Will head roll? Will heads roll? Will people be sued? Will people lose their job? That's our problem. Our problem is not reversing the camera and start that the sea and who never pick up when the drunk did, then all the way to who I'll see and never see and they run through the streets. We have it back way. We honestly lack the leadership to say, here is the problem. So I want to ask, what will be done with the investigation of the situation that not made the child drowned or run through the streets, but how did the child get out of the place that has the highest trained, highest resources, highest for government priority. Government priority starts at Stella Maris because it is the institution. So how you beef we fault? We don't know nothing about that. We don't know nothing about that. If the child could get away from the place where government claims it has the best trained and most resourced people, an institution created for the expressed purpose of being a place for special needs, and the child get away from there, from them, how you be with fault as a society? Think about it. Let's think before we talk, because the blame is somewhere inside that fence. We'll take another call and then take a break.
Good morning, Pastor Wade.
Good morning to you.
Yes, sir. I don't normally call your show, but at one point I was in charge of the school community liaison security program here in Belize City and throughout the country of Belize. That means I was in charge of school wardens and school officers who goes to school, no? And I can tell you one of the issue that from get-go is that those wardens who are being hired, I train them every summer. And the issue is that they are hired politically, you see, and sometimes when they are told to do certain things, they will let you know hire me, You don't hire me. This one hire me. This one send me, yeah. So they would leave their positions, and no matter how you would tell them, listen, anything happen, you will be the first one they are coming to. And just like we rightly said, behind the fence there, some change up needs to make. Somebody needs to go somewhere else if they don't want to fire it. Or they need to move there and put there, I don't know, but you can't just call this a deal and leave it at that and that's it. It's not like that, my brother. These people who are hired, some of them sit down all day. And the job is so, you have to be there half an hour to receive the kid at the gate when the parents let out time. You have to be there after when the school bell ring. You are the last person to leave the yard so that you know the kid. You can't walk out of the yard, leave kids in the schoolyard playing without a teacher or a monitor. But like I said, they will tell you, hire me, or if you go in this one and I go in another one, and that's the situation. So it kind of tough in a way, but that's my 2 cents to them, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Well said. We know that to be the problem, that many of these school wardens are politically appointed. Minister put them there. I am not telling you that that is the situation. But if that come up in the investigation, who will get fired? we fake condolences, sympathy. We fake sympathy because the facts are, and the caller call it out. These, not all school wardens, but many of these school wardens will tell you to your face, you know who put me here. You know who put me here. So you are telling me that what he said doesn't ring true? Of course we know it to be true. Now if that comes in, you think that will make the investigation? I don't know. And if it makes it, who will be held accountable? Who will be held responsible? So, talk to me when we're serious, in a way, I would say. It's a tragedy. It is a tragedy. Do you remember the last time when I rail up? Well, I rail up nearly every week, but you remember when the primary school in Lake I, when somebody from the police department, where they keep the evidence, took a whole load of marijuana gummies and did they throw it away in the garbage instead of burn it? But it was gummies, marijuana gummies from inside the police investigation evidence. End up in the garbage dump. The people went there, pulled out the gummies out of the garbage. You remember it? I'm reminding you. Then they came to the school and sold the children and some parents marijuana gummies. I want to remind Belize the last time we had outrage. Let me ask you, Where is the investigation results on that? Who got arrested and charged? Who got dismissed? When the gummies passed the gate and the children start to hallucinate from marijuana in gummies, and adults were admitted to hospital and children were admitted to hospital, can they eat marijuana-laced gummies from a garbage dump we come from the police exhibit room, and there was outrage like we have right now. What happened? Talk to me when we're serious. We'll take a break and we'll be right back. You're watching Rise and Shine on PlusTV.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody.
February is all about Honda. Get special pricing and discounts on all Honda products. Enjoy up to 25% off select Honda products and 20% off Honda parts. Don't forget your B-Bucks whenever you make your purchase. There will also be a bike rally throughout the streets of Belize City, Blue Creek, and Spanish Lookout on February 8th, 15th, and 22nd respectively. All participants will get free oil change. Check out our Facebook page for more details. Love your Honda. It's all about deals and discounts on Honda products throughout the month of February, only at Benquip Equipment Parts Service.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize!
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speed flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't leave this plan. I can't leave this plan.
The Climate Finance Unit, established in 2022 within the Ministry of Economic Development, focuses on accessing climate finance to support Belize's adaptation and mitigation targets. Within 2 years, the CFU has secured $166 million in climate funds for environmentally sustainable sectors in Belize. Key CFU projects include a $77.6 million initiative to enhance the resilience of northern sugarcane farmers. This project will benefit 5,000 farmers and strengthen Belize's sugar industry, a critical economic sector. Additionally, CFU is leading a $44 million IDB-funded wastewater and solid waste management project on Key Conger to enhance the island's environmental health. Through the IDB Klima initiative, Belize can receive a 5% loan rebate by achieving climate and biodiversity targets. The CFU's ongoing work supports a range of sectors, including agriculture, water security, and coastal management, and has created over 144 jobs through climate finance projects.
Well, sir,
I really did go through some stress with my barber. This man here, they push my hairline way back to the 90s.
Sure.
People, they call me BB Buck Farid now.
So I got a problem, right? I just do this photo shoot, and I want the best photo shoot. But somebody don't want me to keep post it up. I just tired of this, man.
And I want to tell her to catch me on my way. I stopped at the shop and tell the lady I want $5 tacos. You could imagine when you give me? No. Paper.
What the your problem?
Honestly, life good for me over here. I just upgraded to the Digi1 Elite. I have unlimited postpaid plans, Digi TV, free home phone, and the fastest home internet.
I go and upgrade mines now.
Welcome to Builders Hardware, your one-stop home improvement warehouse. Everything you need to bring your projects to life, all in one place. From nails to power tools, we've got you covered. Our inventory spans the essential for every project, big or small. Come and find quality products at unbeatable prices. Whether you're picking up paint, plumbing supplies, or electrical tools, you'll find great deals every day. Don't know what you need? Our expert and customer-friendly team is here to guide you through every step of your project. Need it delivered? We've got you covered there too. Get your products delivered to you anywhere in the country. So come on in and discover endless possibilities for your home renovations. Builders Hardware. We think our customers are
awesome!
Plex Home Builders is the largest house building company in Belize. Plex combines the best skilled workers, high-grade materials, and the latest technology to produce the highest quality wooden residential structures. Request any size, color, and the home layout you want. Choose from hardwood or painted metal outer walls. Plex can modify any of their existing house plans to your satisfaction, complete with all the installation services you need anywhere in the country, including ambergris key. They can also lift your house to your desired height up to 9 feet. From properly treated and cured lumber to quality sidings and floorings, let Plex Home Builders give your home the finish you need. For prices or questions, call 823-0398 or go to www.plexhomebuilders.com. Plex Home Builders, we build to suit your needs.
The government of Belize, through the Ministry of Finance, Economic Development and Investment, is committed to improving citizens' quality of life by effectively allocating resources and promoting sound economic policies. The ministry attracts investment to reduce poverty and boost economic growth. Recognizing Belize's democratic and economic reform efforts, the Millennium Challenge Corporation awarded Belize a grant to reduce poverty. In January 2022, Prime Minister John Briceño announced this support. Analyses identified 2 key challenges: poor education quality and high energy costs. On September 4, 2024, Belize signed the compact, launching 2 major projects. The Education Project aims to improve literacy, raise school transition rates, strengthen technical training, and create a national training agency to align education with labor needs. The Energy Project seeks to lower electricity costs by expanding renewable energy, stabilizing the grid, and implementing transparent regulations. The Belize Compact Development Team has finalized the compact's design. Starting early next year, the Millennium Challenge Account Belize will oversee the 5-year implementation.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave my home, no other place me ever roam could be like Belize. like Belize, sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize.
Thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful Thursday morning. My name is Louis Wade, and it is my pleasure. I think I've sat here for more than 12 years along with my co-hosts to discuss the issues that are affecting our beautiful nation of Belize. I have had the opportunity to discuss from when Said Musa was Prime Minister to Dean Barrow being Prime Minister, and now Johnny Briceño being Prime Minister. I have had the distinct privilege of sitting here for quite a few years discussing the issues that affect Belizeans, and I'm grateful for the opportunity given to me first by God, and then of course by our team here at PlusTV and you, our viewers and our sponsors. One of the things that remains a prevalent conversation here at PlusTV is the issue of drugs. I have said that drugs should be illegal, and that the fight to keep our young people sane, sober, in their right mind, off drugs, should be a priority for any leader who wants to see their country progress, and the youth, which are our highest resource, our human resource, the capacity for the future is within our young people. And that their brain is the most important part of the human being, because it is from the brain that the decisions, the gifts, the talents, the abilities flow. Decision making, choices, education, morality, all of these flow from the brain, from the mind. And so a sane mind should be the priority of any government. As I was reviewing the stories that take place, I came upon an interview that aired on Love FM with Dickie Bradley on marijuana and Fonto. I will come to it, but I will take this call first. Let's take the call.
Pastor Wade, just me again.
Sure.
You're touching another point. You're touching another serious point. First of all, how when it comes to that issue there, man, children are going to the store to buy stout, beer, what is one white one there with a roll up in the same Fonto, and nothing happened to these shop owners, man. How in the world you want to send only 5-year-old, only 6-year-old, and 7-year-old? Y'all go to the shop, go buy 2 stout for me. And nothing happened to the shop owners, man. These are the things where get to you, because when you go to another country, man, and you see the seriousness. I am a bearded fellow, and if I shave down, I might look like a young. Sometimes I go and I order things in the store. The guy says, "Show me your ID." I tell that guy, "You know, hold me." He says, sir, I don't sell you this if you don't show me ID. Because the guy know that if he make a mistake, he will never own a store again. But you see, that is another issue in this country. I pass Yarborough Bridge every morning, Pastor Wade, and I watch some young fellas, man. Instead of these guys think about something to eat. Because as you wake up, you need to think about where you eat. You know where they got in their hand, man? Then they pinch something down and they get ready to roll up. Man.
Marijuana, yeah.
Yes, man. How in the world we and police pass? Nobody say nothing. But you know, they say they got this 10 and got this some grams now where you could do. They got it in and lip now and you know, I mean this society gone, you know. Kid coming back to me again. Remember the Beggar Ali and say it takes a village to raise a child? If everybody may grab on to that picture and make it know properly, how come a little boy when you want to make it get for him? And then kind of thing. But I'm just saying, coming back to the drug business, man, it's terrible in this country. It's terrible. Something needs to be done. I watched in a uniform. I remember when I was going to high school, St. Michael's College, you had to be tucked in. You can't walk the street if your shirt not tucked in your pants. You can't drink one ideal on the street in a uniform. But these days, man, I don't know all kind of thing happening in a uniform. And I like you said, it's the young mind, you know. So what do you think will happen to them when they reach over 18, 20 and so? For their mind ruined? So where do you get out of there now? Is it? Then I want to work, then I want to hang out and this and that, thinking that things will come today. Then when they beg you for something, you tell you got it, they vex somebody vex you bad, you know. Somebody like they don't want to fight with you. But that is the situation here. You reach that stage. Look, I am afraid to go to certain store here in Belize City because there's you have people out there sitting down waiting. And man, when you go by, sometimes you don't want nobody to bother you. But that is the situation, man. Anyway, thanks again.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your call. Yeah. You know when boy, when people they beg, especially when you see young people they beg, they are not just begging for themselves, you know, they are begging for a whole little group that are waiting right around the corner. And what they do is that it's the newest guy that goes to beg. So you have a group of maybe 5 guys. Some of them have been to jail, some haven't, but they're on drugs. But the community know them already. So they train the new guy to go beg. So the new guy, he's already hooked on the drug, right? He's hooked on crack, hooked on marijuana, whatever it is. So the new guy, they will give him some of what they have. So they will give him some bad man, they will give him some crack, give him some marijuana, whatever it is that they are into. And it's mostly all of it, they're into everything because that's why they're already out there. But the people know them, right? So they are down the street watching the new guy, and then the new guy begs. So the new guy begs. This, that, the other. Then he takes that money to the guys, and then they buy their alcohol, their marijuana, whatever gets them high. And that's his job. And he's working for himself and for the others. And then when another new guy comes, then they get, because over time, you start to see the same person and you get vexed because you don't give on and it not get by your nerves. So the guys know that. So the new person who comes in now, because he's now addicted, they get thrown out of home and he needs his drugs. So they give him the drugs. And then after that, they put him to beg. And that's how the cycle goes. Those things I have only learned from having a drug rehab. But before we go, I have to air this very big concern of my friend and Dickie Bradley. And I want to deconstruct it. Let's hear this warning from Dickie Bradley. Can we play the clip?
I see my brothers and my sisters, when they go to the Chinese shop, they buy Fonto. You can buy, people don't even know, Fonto are the big tobacco leaf. And they tear it down. So if they ever knew, and the Ministry of Health have a duty, Fonto is laced with insecticide. When the people who plant these trees from which you get the tobacco, to keep away insects and to keep away other things, they spray these things and it gets into the membrane and into the AI of the leaf and the plant and the root. And we are taking marijuana along with poisonous tobacco leaf and they smoke it. My brothers and sisters, it's better to tear a piece of brown paper. Anything from America is infected. But come on, man, it's unfair to you all. And I don't know why I get sick later on. With the intake poisonous insecticides. The same thing with the supermarkets, with the eat and drink foreign thing with poisonous.
Most ridiculous statement ever. Most ridiculous statement ever. Number one, the people that spray Fonto, which is tobacco leaf, because then they spray it with insecticides because the insects, they eat the tobacco leaf. And the farmer want to preserve the investment for sell the tobacco leaf. So he spray the insecticide on the tobacco leaf. Insect don't even want to eat weed. Weed is so bad that they don't spray it with insecticide because no insect want that, okay? Okay? Fonto is not the problem with weed, okay? The problem with weed is weed, okay? It's not the Fonto. It's the most ridiculous statement I have ever heard. You need to know that not even insect want weed. So Fonto is far better than weed, regardless of what they spray on the Fonto. Because at least insect will eat tobacco. They don't eat weed. Because the insect smarter than humans. They say when you go to a market, you watch where the insects there and you buy them vegetables because them vegetables no got insecticide on it. Because anything where the insect no want, you know for eat. In the old days, the fish, when the sailors go out to sea, sailors out in sea dead for hunger. Dead for hunger. So you will ask the question, how sailors in the sea dead for hunger and fish they all around me? Because some of the fish poisonous. So how the sailors know that the fish not poisonous? When they catch fish, they left the fish on the deck and they say which fish the insect go eat. So the insect, the fish where the insect go pitch pan and start to that the fish where the sailors go fry, because at least the insect will eat that. So please understand that marijuana is so bad that they don't need to spray insecticide on it because they kill the insect. So it is like Dickie Bradley coming to complain about tamales to the Belizean people, and his complaint is about the tamales leaf rather than the tamales itself. We got a problem with the tamales inside, not a problem with the leaf. The fonto, the leaf, is the least of your problems. Let me go deeper. All plants having tar, okay? The tar where you pave the street, that's where the tar come from. Over millions of years, the trees, the organic material under high pressure produces petroleum. It produces tar. It produces what we call tar pits, from which we extract petroleum from. All plants produce tar. Now, marijuana is a plant and tobacco is a plant. They have in tar. But cigarette, which is what you make from tobacco, you see when they do with the cigarette, they take and they put a filter in the tobacco. In the cigarette, not you? The cigarette have a filter, the part where you smoke has a filter, and that filter turn black when you don't smoke. It start out white and it turn black. Why? Because as you're smoking the cigarette, some of the tar get caught in the filter. Let me ask you a question. Where's the filter for weed there? Where's the filter for weed? There's no filter in weed. So when you are smoking weed, all of the tar in weed go into your nose and your mouth and your trachea and your bronchus and your bronchioles and your alveoli, and it tar up your lungs. Fonto is the least of your problem. Your problem is the very weed that you are smoking. I'm not even talking about the THC, the tetrahydrocannabinol. I am not talking about the 420 chemicals, of which most of them are bad for your health. I'm not talking about benzene, which is present in marijuana. I am just talking about one of the products I have randomly selected that is in both Fonto, tobacco / Fonto, and weed. Tar, the same tar on the street, is what you are ingesting. Fonto is the least of your problem. Number 3. Which product in the world do you burn to get the benefits in your body? Which product ever you have to burn it to get the benefit? Food you have to cook. You cook it, then you stop, then you eat it. Medicine, any medicine, it comes in the form that you need it. Even if them guys have to take it and they soak it in alcohol, they soak it in water, you soak it, you boil it so that the nutrients come out. Answer me this. Which product? You burn it. You burn it. And the smoke from it, not the vapor, you know, not the vapor, you know, the smoke. Do you know that smoke and vapor are two different things? Smoke and vapor are two different things, Papa. So here is a person who has come forward to tell you that it is bad to burn Fonto, but it's okay to burn weed. And the smoke, not the vapor, the smoke of that product goes into your system, and that you for run for Fonto, oh my brother, that is like me telling you, don't take Gramaxone, take Clorox and drink it, or the other way around. More likely the other way around. Fonto is the least of the weed smokers' problem. It's the least of it. And let me add, I can go on. I know what I am talking about. Not only are you smoking it, that's why so many of their face get black, some of their fingernails get black, the teeth get black. It's because you are burning something. And even the talk about the 420 chemicals, and even the talk about the effect that it has on your brain, on your heart, on your lungs, on your trachea. I'm not even talking about that. I will say very clearly, no drugs is burnt. No drug like medicine is burnt so that you can get the benefit from it. It's like taking the best medicine in the world and coating it with poison and say, and then they only talk about the medicine inside, but they not talk about the poison that it is coating with. And that poison that is coating, the poison that is coating the medicine is not Fonto. It is the tetrahydrocannabinol and the other deadly chemicals in the marijuana that just have a little bit of CBD, which is the beneficial part, but it is the beneficial part, which is the CBD, is overpowered by the THC. I can go on and on this singular topic and can speak and debate any of them, from the Minister of Police down. We can debate them and take them to the rehab. Let them hear the personal stories. We know what we're talking about on this matter. I will close with this. Google marijuana and the heart. Just Google it. Using marijuana especially frequently can increase the risk of heart rate, heart attack, stroke. It is also linked to cardiovascular disease, heart attack. Daily marijuana use linked to 25% increase of heart attack. Stroke. Daily marijuana use is linked to 42% increase in stroke. Inflammation. THC in marijuana can cause inflammation in the endothelial cells that line blood vessels. Myocardial dysfunction. Cannabis use has been linked to myocardial dysfunction independent of coronary heart disease. Cardiomyopathy. Cannabis use has been linked to stress cardiomyopathy. Myocarditis, myopercarditis. Cannabis use has been linked to myocarditis and myopercarditis, known also as toxic myocarditis. I can go on and on. Just type in, don't type in marijuana and the brain. Check that out, take that out and say marijuana. Don't just type in marijuana and the heart. I just did that. Type in marijuana and the brain, or marijuana and the developing brain. Type in marijuana and the lung, and you will see for yourself what I am talking about. Do you know how many people in Belmopan that I know, people who should be alive, but because of marijuana consumption, dead from heart attack and stroke? Young people. You know how many people on the block, I don't want to call the name of the block, they're dead already from heart disease. And they don't even know that it's the marijuana at the root cause of their death. It is a travesty. So I close my show with this morning. They're marijuana user and marijuana enthusiasts. The least of your problems is Fonto. From all of us here at Rise and Shine, God bless you, Belize. See you tomorrow.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize.